The Fling Show. The Fling Show.
Oh my gosh, welcome to the show tonight. Boy, do we have a show for you. I'm so excited to join on our guests and deliver the big news here at the Fling Show. So let's get started. I want to give a shout out. We are doing a clinic. It is going to be January 23rd out at Wynwood. I'm going to put that link to the event in the comments. Don't miss out. Free, giving away gift bags. So many are involved in this. So if you're brand new to if you've played for years, it's for everybody. Come out and join us. Women, girls of all ages. All right? All right. Hemi, how you doing tonight?
I'm great.
Good.
How you doing?
So excited. Good.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This is a good vibe show. Really looking forward to it. Not a lot going on for me. I've been out, practicing when I can. I ran into John Montenegro again. I keep running to him for my practice sessions and learning how to flick.
He's a good one to run into.
Yeah, he's very good. I watched the post come across Facebook of all the snowmageddon that happened, and especially up in Waco, and watched that stuff going down, and I was really, kind of had a flashback. Oh, there you go. Mic not on?
Yeah, it's just not picking up very well.
Oh, there we go. So I had a flashback to my Kansas days, and the first time I went out and played in that kind of weather, the first round, it was a C tier, the first round was like 61 degrees or so, and then this massive front hit, and it rained and sleeted on us, and I'm out there in a shorts and a hoodie, and I was on the lead card after the first round, and I fell off the lead card and did not cash. So I learned my lesson: pack lots of layers for sure. But from what I saw up there in Waco, it seemed like that kind of snow, that wet kind of nasty, rainy, windy, wet snow. It didn't seem like a fun time to me.
It reminded me what Sprague had said in one of his interviews that we had done, and I know it's a guy that you played against. He said that you have to mentally prepare for that day, but when you sent that out, and although I think we knew some kind of snow might happen, what you sent out was amazing with that video. I know that Krissie sent it out, and some of the other players in Waco, Brett Barker and a few others, had sent some of the pictures out, and it would just got worse and worse and worse. And it made me think of you and Sprague in that conversation of you got to practice even in the worst conditions. And moving forward, I don't want to, ruin anything, so we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's like, when is when? When is enough? And when do the TDs decide enough is enough in those conditions? So I was quite amazed. It was in Texas. It's just strange to see people playing snow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It didn't appeal to me whatsoever.
Me neither.
I was not happy with it. I mean, usually it doesn't bother me. I figure as long as you got the layers and you got enough towels, and snow is better than rain. But no, I wasn't. That didn't look very fun to me. But we have somebody on the show tonight who's gonna.
Well, that kind of leads us into the big news, and I think that this is amazing for the Fling Show. We have taken organic steps, as you like to always say, and how this came about and how this has transpired over the last couple hours, but also how we thought about this a few weeks back and just kept kind of mulling it over. I know we had some conversations about it, but bringing on this new member, we are adding a new member to the Fling Show. As a team, we could not be happier. I think this is a perfect person to fit where we, as a Fling Show team, are moving forward, the direction that we all love and the most interested in. So if we can have Matt drop that video, you're going to get to see who our new Fling Show member is, and we're going to bring them on right after the video. So enjoy.
Can you see it over there? Let's see if I can watch.
Oh, well, I guess now the news is out. The cat is out of the bag. We have our newest member. Welcome to the team, Miss Krissie Fountain. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so privileged to have you on our team, our Austin correspondent. We're reaching out, trying to cover the state, and we knew that you were the perfect person for that. Amazing video that you sent this weekend. I know we all were just flabbergasted by it. I could not imagine trying to even pick a disc to throw across that water. It looked like you were throwing champion, and I always heard throw something soft. But amazing job by you. But congratulations, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining the team.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I reciprocate all of those feelings. I am so excited about this and all the opportunities that are ahead of us, and I am just so on board to get started with this and to represent Austin for you guys, and just keep the conversation going and open. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I think the most important thing that we've always thought here at the Fling Show is growing the sport, getting more eyes on the sport, and bringing attention to other divisions, and especially with the FPO and just the female division in particular from all levels. We are so excited that this is something that you're going to help us hopefully expand not only to the Austin market, but the Houston market, bringing more eyes and more ladies to this game. I think is just a huge compliment to not only you and Meredith and the rest of the ladies that we've been able to watch over the last few months, because it is exploding. The number of players that are out there are incredible, and we are so fortunate to team you two ladies up, because I think that with you two powers and to be, it's going to be a great dream team, because y'all are going to do great things in introducing these to players who have never played. Because one thing I love about you both is you make everyone feel so comfortable, not only when you play with them, but when you speak to them. So I'm looking forward to that. I know Hemi's looking forward to that.
Definitely.
What else are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, Chris and I started this thing like, I don't know how long, 8 months ago, so like that. And back in the day, before Matt came along, Matt Lang, we had to do everything ourselves. And there are a lot of hours. I know the hours that Chris
spends on his editing and stuff like that. And there's this kind of interesting sort of vibe that happens when you put that kind of work in. And I know you feel it out on the course when you're working on it. It's a soul glow. It's like it comes from the heart. And when I saw the messages come across from Meredith about, getting you to join on the team, because we'd already talked about it, and you've always kind of seemed like one of us anyway. And I just got that same soul glow, whenever it comes from the heart, and that, it just felt so good. And we're just so lucky to have someone of your caliber and your vibe. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us, for sure.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate the kind words. And, every single time I've come on so far to talk with you guys, it's been an absolute blast. And just the timing and like how everything worked out was so crazy. If you don't mind, I'll tell a little bit of what happened today. Yeah. Like just today. Okay. So I got the message from Meredith, and she said, "Hey, congrats on your win in Waco. Do you want to come on the Fling Show again tonight?" And I was like, yeah, like it's never even a question. Of course I want to. This is like amazing. It's the highlight of my week whenever I get to come and chat with you guys. And so I texted my husband and I said, "Hey, I'm super excited. I'm going back on the Fling Show tonight to talk about Waco and all of that kind of stuff." And he was like, "Oh man, that's cool." He was like, "Maybe they should, I don't know, bring you on as like a regular or something like that." And I was like, "Yeah, they have 2 guy hosts. Why can't they have 2 girl hosts? Might as well balance things out, right?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, it would be so good. You could like represent Austin, you could bring in different people, like really help them to like expand and bring like, different ideas and all of that kind of stuff." And that was at like 11:40. Okay, 11:40, you guys. At 12:20, I got the message from Chris, and he was like, "Hey, so we were thinking it would be really cool to bring you on as part of like the team." And I just like didn't even know what to think. I was like, "Wait, is this real life?" Because I hadn't said anything, and I was like, maybe tonight during the pre-show, I'll kind of like put a bug in their ear, like, hey, what do you guys think about, making this kind of like a regular thing? So like, I wasn't going to say anything. And then it just happened. And I really love whenever things can happen like organically and naturally. And I mean, really, like, it doesn't happen more organically than that. Like, the stars totally aligned. We were all on the same page. So absolute no brainer. So this is awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's really, really cool and confirming to hear you say that. Because, we were just a small little operation in a garage, and we felt like, we didn't want to make you feel obligated even just to come on the show. And so when you said that, and I saw that screenshot of that conversation between you and Neil, I was like, that's cool. I mean, that's like, that warms my heart. So
I definitely
really
had the warm fuzzies.
I'm
for
glad
sure.
you had
Honestly,
the same feeling.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you guys have really like hit a niche market. Like, with the way that disc golf is like growing, you have the Disc Golf Pro Tour Network, and you have the Disc Golf Guy, and like you're getting all of these different athletes and outlets where people can come on and talk about disc golf. And with the way that it's growing right now, man, like the possibilities are endless. So good stuff. I'm so excited.
Yeah, great to have you. Hey, let me talk about Waco a little bit.
Waco.
Because I love reading your wrap ups, like end of, after. I love that. I've actually done a couple of those, and knowing that, it's kind of, you're putting yourself out there. It's kind of a weird thing, you're telling about the intricacies, but man, I loved reading your wrap up and how you wanted to cry on every hole. I mean, it's like that. It's really hats off to you for taking that win. That's one you'll never forget,
Yeah.
Congrats on that. Tell me a little bit about how that round started. It didn't look like it was totally snowy when you started. Was it raining, or what was the weather like at the beginning?
So it started off with them posting tee times on Saturday night, and Saturday night, and it's saying that I was teeing off at 8:20 in the morning, and Saturday we didn't tee off until like 11:30. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so early. Like, we're driving back to Austin. It's an hour and a half drive. So I'm already calculating in my head, like, okay, we have to wake up at 5, leave by 6. Like, man, this is an early day. And Neil didn't tee off until 11:40 on Sunday. So we have this like, huge gap. And so we were like, do we take separate cars? Do we take the same car? Like, what do we do? So we finally figured it out. He was like, I'm just going to ride with you, and then you'll just have to wait for me. Like, it is what it is. So fair enough, right? So Sunday morning comes, and we are driving up there, and it is pouring down rain on us, you guys. It is raining hard. An hour and a half drive from Austin to Waco, and the rain never let up. And so the whole time I'm like, okay, this is it's going to be better. Like, it's not going to be this bad, right? And so we got there, and I started warming up, and like, it was still drizzling a little bit, and it was cold. But it was manageable, like, when we were warming up. And so 8:20 gets there, and it's still raining. It's just rain at this point. And then it starts to kind of like sleet / like hail a little bit, like really like tiny droplets of ice. And I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And so by hole like 3, I think, is whenever it was like full on snow. Like, it was just coming down. And it wasn't like the nice kind of snow that like drifts down. It was like the in your face, like you can't open your eyes kind of snow. And
in your face.
Like, I was just miserable. And I was like, I know this is like a situation that I'm going to look back on, and I'm going to be glad that I went through it. But like in the moment, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, it sucked. I mean, that's the only way to like put it. I was not prepared. I didn't have good shoes. Like, my feet were frozen and they were wet. And I had this like rechargeable hand warmer that I was really excited about. And it lasted like an hour, and then it died. And like, and I kind of came to a realization. So like, I do a lot of forehands. Like, you guys saw that in the video. That's like my main, my main power throw. Right. And like, okay, we can go down a whole rabbit hole if we start talking about grips of forehands, but when I forehand, I use a 1-finger grip.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, me too.
So I have
that was going to be my question. How do you grip it with a forehand? Because
so you
I
guys,
saw the video. It looked
I have
pretty good.
1 finger. I have 1 finger to rely on, and if this finger is not perfectly dry, like perfect condition, like I'm struggling, and it was just tough.
Did your plastic choice, did you kind of plan for that at all? Because I know I'm the same way. I'm a 1-finger flicker. I do both back and front like you do, but 1-finger flicker. Did you choose a different plastic on your way up there? Were you prepared with a bunch of plastic in your car? What were your thoughts on that? Because I know I don't like throwing Champion plastic in the cold, especially in the wet.
No, I didn't think about it at all. I'll be super honest with you. I thought about it a lot. Like, hindsight is always 2020. So I was like, man, I should have filled my bag with like, Mint's Royal plastic. Like, they're kind of like base gummy plastic. I should have filled my bag with Royal Bobcats, like DX plastic that I have sitting on my shelf that I like never pick up. Like, I should have picked up all of like the really gummy stuff. Because I was trying to throw like Pro plastic and Star plastic, and like it just wasn't working out.
How was the footwork? Was it pretty much just stand and deliver? I know if you're throwing a forehand, you don't need much of a step up. Is that pretty much how you were getting up the fairway?
Yeah, so pretty much. I was definitely probably only throwing like 60%. I definitely couldn't put like a full power or a full run up to it. And believe it or not, like even my putting, the footwork was kind of sketchy because I was only like, I don't know, 4 feet from this basket, but it was like on a hill. Like I was standing like downhill, and when I went to like release my putt on this 4-foot putt, like my front foot slipped, and I ended up putting it like 20 feet past the basket into the woods. And I don't even know what to say.
Well, the box is very icy as well, because I couldn't really tell if they were wet or if they were icy, but both of those are terrible.
Yeah, they were just wet. They weren't really icy. I think. Well, and they might have been for the later cards. But we started so early that like it hadn't really like accumulated that much yet. But I don't know if you guys know how the beast is laid out, but the first like kind of 9 holes are like out in the open, right? There's a lot of like space and stuff. And then when you get to the back 9, it's really super wooded. And so we got to that back 9, and on the first hole, we like get halfway up the fairway, and there's just like, this massive branch that just like had fallen from the weight of the snow. And then we get to the next hole, and like the branches are like encompassing the fairway, and there's literally like no line. And so we kind of like trudged our way through that hole. And then all of a sudden, we see Steven's story, and the tournament director and Stephanie Vincent, who's the Texas PDGA coordinator, was on my card with me. And, they kind of got to talking, and, it wasn't really the concern of the snow itself. It wasn't the concern of the driving conditions, but it was the concern of those back 9 holes and the integrity or the lack thereof of the branches and the weight of the snow, like, snapping those branches, that was really detrimental to the safety of the players. And so that ultimately was like the driving decision to call the tournament like mid-round like that. Fortunately, it happened before any of the MPO guys teed off. So, it was crazy, y'all. I've never been through anything like that ever.
So you played 10 holes? Is that what
10
I
or
heard?
11. 10 or 11.
And that's how they based the tournament, on those 11 holes?
No,
was there a previous round?
Yeah, so we played on Saturday. We played our round at Cameron Park on Saturday, and per the PDGA rules, you have to play 13 holes in a round for it to like count towards a full round. And so since we didn't get to that point, basically everything we had played up to then was nil. So at least for our division and for the pro guys, the winners basically just went off of the one round from Saturday.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So do you feel like the PDGA made any decision or conscious decision for the participants based upon driving back home? I do know that the weather was also terrible, as you had mentioned as well, that you were glad that you did not drive and Neil did, even though you were mad that he didn't get to suffer like you did. I love that comment. That was awesome. But do you feel like they made a decision based upon any of that information? Because I know the perils of driving. I don't like driving late, much less driving in snow, rain, sleet, and ice.
You know, I really, to be honest, I don't know. I have to imagine that went through their thought process when they were making the decision, because you guys, there was like 280 players in this tournament. And to be responsible, you know, ultimately for like the lives of that many people, like I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but you know, that's a lot to take responsibility for. And if someone were to get like seriously injured or get in a bad accident, like leaving that tournament, I think it would like, that would be a really hard pill to swallow as a tournament director, because ultimately you are the one who decided to push forward in the conditions that we were under. So, you know, I don't know the answer like 100%, but I have to say, I really think it probably went through his head when he was making that decision.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it was crazy.
We turned it over to Meredith, and I can't wait to hear what these two had to discuss. I just, once again, am so happy, beyond happy, that you decided to join our fleeing team.
Me too.
And thank you so much. Congratulations on the win again in Waco. And
thank you.
Thank you. Can't wait to see what we do moving forward. Meredith?
Hey, Krissie. Congratulations. Welcome to the Fling Team.
Thank you. We missed you, though.
Yes. Okay, I need to see them. So I wanted, before I go into my question for you, I want to shout out to our, because as some of you may or may not know, but Krissie is on the Empowered Disc Golf team as well as myself. And we have Kelsey Sweden, who also took the win in intermediate at Waco Shadow of the Brazos. So, yeah.
I'm so proud of her. Yeah, she made the jump to intermediate women, and she's crushing it. Best decision she could have made. Man, I'm so excited to see what's in her future.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually was following along, and I noticed the scores. I mean, from top to bottom, y'all were tight. So, I mean, what were your like thoughts? I mean, I didn't even know that the round got cut off short. So, with that said, do you think that would have been a battle to the very end? I mean, it's a beast.
Well, yeah, so it was really close. So like there was 6 people in our division, and the scores were literally +2, +3, +4, +5, +6, +6 after the first round. Like nuts, right? That's crazy. And I really like the Beast, you guys. Like when it's in good condition, like it's one of my favorite courses to play. I have a lot of confidence when I play out there. And so I was like ready. Like, yes, this is the Beast. Like, I'm gonna take it here. I know I can do it because I love playing out here. And then my first throw of the round went OB, and I took a 5. And the girl who was in second, her name is Katie, she's from Oklahoma. She got a 2, and so it was a 3-stroke swing like on the first hole. And I was like, oh man. Okay. And then we got to the next hole, which is like this really long hole, OB on both sides, super, super, super hard hole. Well, she ended up taking a 7 and I took a 4. So like there's those 3 strokes back, and we're like right where we started. And like basically it was so like the entire round was like that. Like I would have a blow up hole, and then like she or Stephanie was right there in the mix too, man. She was right there. Like she would have they would have good holes. And then I would like bounce back and have like a decent hole on the next one. And then they would like go out of bounds or, you know, get bogeys or whatever. And so like the whole round, it was just like back and forth like that. But I think by the last couple of holes, I had managed to like extend my lead a little bit. And so I still felt good, like walking away, even though it got cut short. I was like, okay, like technically I'm still winning, you know, it's not like I had dropped back down to second or third place, but then I still got to claim victory. Like that would not have felt good. That would not have felt right. I would not have felt good about a win like that. So I was happy that I still technically like was in first, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely pressure for sure. And, we were all like just trying to survive out there. And I know that sounds crazy. And I'm sure I probably drove Stephanie and Katie crazy because I was taking so long to get, are y'all there?
They're back.
Okay. Taking so long to between each throw and everything. And I felt bad because I was taking a long time, but then I also said, well, you know what, I'm maintaining the lead. So me taking this time is okay to make sure that I'm making decent shots. But it was tough, and major kudos to everyone who went through that, because the people at Cameron Park, they played. They only canceled the second round for the people who were playing at the Beast. And so the B pool who was playing Cameron Park on Sunday, they played 18 holes in that weather. And even though it's quote unquote a shorter course, an easier course, it's still hard. Pars felt like birdies, bogeys felt like pars. It was just one of those kind of days.
Wow. That is crazy. I love seeing those pictures. I remember I played in the past and it was so cold, but it's so fun to see online, but I cannot imagine being in it. It's so pretty, and thank you for sharing all the pictures and videos. But
absolutely, I have to give major credit to Neil. He was the one who took all of those videos. I know I gave him a hard time in my Facebook post. Because I know I gave him a hard time in my Facebook post because I was like, Neil didn't have to play those holes, whatever. But he was such a trooper, and he walked those holes with me and got those videos. And he was like, I know these are going to come in handy because you're probably never going to play in a situation like this again. So hats off to him for sure. That's so
cool. So cool. Well, I'm so excited to have you on, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at a minute coming up. And girl, so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really can't. I'm just so grateful. And yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yes.
Thank you. We love it. Thanks.
All right. Good seeing you tonight. We'll talk to you soon, Krissie.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Wow. I think we just landed another mega deal. I feel like
connection.
I feel like we won the lottery somehow. Twice.
Yeah.
Well, actually 3 times now. We won the lottery with Matt. We won the lottery with Meredith, and now we won the lottery with Krissie. Can't wait to see what moving forward. But I do want to ask a question to you before we kind of close the show.
All right.
When, as a player, especially she's an open player, she's sponsored, she's been paid to play, right? When do you make that decision about this is okay and then this is not? Because like I said, Sprague had said, hey, you got to get mentally ready to play in some challenging times, whether it's rain, whether it's snow, and whether it's even heat, because those 3 things I would much rather play in the heat. But that snow and that wet, when do you make that decision you know what, this may not be good for me moving forward? And it was obviously she was feeling that as well.
Yeah, I don't know. My first win was the wind was blowing 50 miles an hour and woke me up. It almost knocked my house over. And I decided, okay, it's time to go play some disc golf. This was in Kansas, and the wind blows in Kansas. It blows. But yeah, you just really never know when it's going to be your day, really. You just got to show up, and it sounds like they already had it planned, and they were just going to hunker down and see what happens.
Well, to drive all the way in there in the rain, one
got me?
Mentally, I would be sitting there going, no way, no way, no way. And then it's cold. And so I'm a Texan. 2 things that just do not work in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Cold, wind, wet.
Yeah.
And I'm driving there for an hour and a half. That is some internal fortitude to be able to go and say, I'm going to step on that box and I'm ready. I got to go practice. I got to warm up. I'm going to go compete. I handed out to her because when you sent me that video and I saw that, because obviously you sent it, but you sent it to me, my mouth just dropped to the floor, because being a Texan, that's not something I'm going to do.
Well, and like we talked earlier, Kansas, we had a Monday night glow league all through the winter, and when it was 0, it was bearable, But if it was kind of 30ish and snowing, it's unbearable because then you're wet, and it's the wet that gets you,
Yeah.
As long as the wind's not blowing and it's just cold, and in Kansas, I played on some frozen tundra, and there were some fun rounds, You just kind of get acclimated, and it took me a long time after I moved here to become a wimp that I am today. But I would not have played that tournament, that's for sure.
Moving forward, she did say that the worst thing she felt, which I always hate, is when your feet get wet. You are the same way. You're like, hey, let's wait till the dew ends. I don't want to go play before the dew has been moved, because you start walking and your feet get wet. Now, obviously, we play in the hotter temperatures, but what is a good way to overcome that? Is there a shoe, a sock, a heater?
I have the shoes.
You have the shoes, Meredith
Yeah,
has the shoes.
these they're Adidas Turex, but I can walk in a puddle and good. I'm dry.
Nice. That's good to know.
Do you have
do
another
the
thing
socks?
that you do socks?
I tried those. I'm just not good at keeping up with laundry, so I lost one. The dog ate one, and
Hunting boots and hand warmers.
Hunting boots
and ham.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the feet warmers, because they tell you to put them on the bottom of your feet, and those are the most uncomfortable things to walk on. I mean, if you're sitting in the blind and you're hunting, yeah, I guess that's a great thing to have. But those warmers that they have for your feet as well, I guess you need to put them on top. But I just know that I'm not a big fan of those. So I was often wondering what you do as a pro when you know you're going to have to play in those wet. Do you have a special shoe you like to wear?
I don't, and I've never worn water shoes or anything like that. But if something like that came up, I do have some rubber boots that I would probably have worn for that, for the snow.
Gotcha.
And they're pretty grippy. I probably would have gone with that. But I think the thing that I was going to ask her, and I did. We talked a little bit about it, is that forehand, because I've always heard that the forehand is not a good throw when your hands are wet.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, not only just wet,
but the footing though, like when you can't, if you're just gonna stand there and throw, which in those videos you saw a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Guys weren't really, or girls and guys weren't really running up. It was just kind of like, do what you can.
Well, I think that everybody, when you release a disc backhanded, it's not the same as when you flick, because the pressures that you put on these fingers are amazing. And if you flick out in the cold, you and I played football, and you played in much more colder weather than I did most of the time. Mm-hmm. That hit, that sting right then, it just reverberates through your whole body. Yeah. Imagine with a one-handed flick, like she said, everything was in one finger.
It's good you don't flick with both hands.
Right, yeah. Maybe it gets the rolls. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that one finger grip, you mess that finger up and it starts zinging and it hurts and you can't feel right the rest of the day. So when she said that, I said, I know exactly how you feel, because it's Shawshank with that rain that came down the way it did. My one-handed flick was, which I had to do, like you said, because you want to stand and be planted, because any other type of movement, that slipping for me, and I think anybody else, is dangerous. So, hats off to her, and to be able to play those 10 holes, I know mentally that was the toughest challenge, but to win at the same time, congratulations on that. We also need to throw out the fact that Fred Needham won, I think, 3,001th
That's right.
A tournament, also at the Waco.
Over $3,000 now, 3,000 wins.
Yes, and then also our intermediate winner of the FA division, Sweden.
Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey.
Yeah, congrats, Kelsey.
I did see that Mike. Did you see Mike had not finished the last round?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think that there were quite a few of those players who just kind of looked at that weather and just said,
Hey, but, looking through this list, with the exception of the top 3, Freddie was number 4, Charlie Moore was number 5, Tanner was in the top 10, Seth was right there with him, tied. A lot of Houston guys braved the weather and
they didn't play the second round.
That's right. They didn't play the second round.
But that still was inclement weather the first round. So.
Yeah, it was still not nice weather. But yeah, every week we see it. We see the Houston guys kicking butt.
Those sponsorships and girls rolling in. It's been amazing. I thought during this winter time we'd kind of be slowing down, but the reality is it's really kind of picked up. these sponsors have just been flying off the walls. Congratulations to Chris Fennell by being picked up by LSD as well. There's more than that to
Chris.
go over, but I mean, it's just been amazing to see the sponsorships of these players in this area, and people stepping up and doing the sponsorships as well. So I hope those guys who are being sponsored, you really thank your sponsors. You get out there, you mention them, you hashtag them. Meredith does a great job. And Miss Fountain does a great job as well. Hemi does a great job. Just make sure that we're pressing for you to get sponsors, but make sure you're taking care of them at the same time. So just congratulations to everybody.
Yep. And hey, let's talk about course maintenance real quick.
Oh yeah.
And course degradation or whatever, what have you. Hey, if you're new to the sport,
If
you're new to the sport, please find out who the course czar is, or find out before you do any clearing. Don't do it. Basically, pick up trash instead. That was Alex's recommendation. Be nice to the courses, especially if you're new and you don't quite understand it. Sometimes an obstacle is there for a reason, and so that was kind of a downer to read.
Well, I have noticed that a few holes have been changing in the last few days at a few courses, not only Stonebridge, but also Northside Christian.
Yeah.
McDade, I know, gets a lot of extra trimming by some players, and it can be anybody. But the reality is that disc golf has been set by the course designers. They try to maintain those as best as they can. We also, at Northside Chain Gang and other clubs, I know that Cypress Disc Golf does it. I know that Prison City, they have their own courses where they have, as Hemi mentioned, course czars who take care of these issues. If you have issues with those things, please reach out to your fellow club members first. But of course, if you want to clear underbrush, something that's laying down, something that's in the way, sure. But please just don't take it upon yourself just to make a different shot because it's easier. Because half of the point of disc golf playing.
Yeah, I think unfortunately that's just part of the growth of the sport. Because I mean, people that have been playing a long time and understand the technicalities of a course and why it's built like it is aren't really going to go out and cut, say like the tree on 18 at Stonebridge,
I haven't seen it yet.
They didn't cut that one. I was asking Alex if they cut that one because that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, it's the whole reason for the hole.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is, it's bound to happen because you got a whole bunch of new people that really don't like trees at all when they first start off.
Or even the brush behind the basket. Sometimes that's there for a reason. A lot of players play to that brush because they want to go for an ace race and they expect that brush to kind of catch them. And now you can't go for an ace because now you're going to need to shoot back off behind the hole because people have taken it upon themselves to think that, hey, I'm always back here. My disc is always back here. I want to be able to throw from back here. And that's not what that course was set up for.
Yeah. So if you're new, and you want to help out, reach out to the Northside Chain Gang and talk to Nate Clark and AP and us
or any of your local clubs.
Yeah, any of your local clubs.
South Side, North Side, Central, Huntsville. There's clubs everywhere, but I'm pretty sure that each one of them have someone responsible for that course.
But yeah, it's growing. And it's unbelievable.
Amazing.
The growth. I was again at Bear Branch the other day, and it was just a backup of people that had no idea who they were.
We'll talk about the photo you sent today and how you got that one. It was off of a huge TV network.
Oh, CNN. Yeah. CNN. Disc golf. And somebody shot, and that was from Waco. Mm-hmm. The image of disc golfers being crazy and playing in the snow, and it ends up on CNN.
I mean, that's as big as you can get. I mean, that's as big as ESPN or anything else. You get on local TV, that's one thing. But to get on worldwide TV, that's another. So we're getting huge.
To wrap it up, Meredith's got her putting seminar.
Gosh, look at you started, Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
What I have is our Empowered, it's called our Empowered Girl Like a Girl Free Ladies Clinic, okay? It's free, it's going to be a great time. We're going to have stations that we'll rotate through and we'll have special accommodations for those who are brand new and don't have discs. Don't worry, we will have you covered. So I'm so excited.
It's a great idea. I look forward to some guys stepping up and doing the same thing, because I'd like to go learn some putting tips as well. So
And we're going to have somebody there filming it as well live. We'll also be doing some post-editing production, I guess it is, of the event as well, just to show the amazing talent that we have in this area and the amazing job that Meredith and her whole group is doing to bring this group of ladies. Because at first Meredith was just concerned that she didn't have enough people that may show, and now she has so many people she's concerned she has too many people that are going to show, and that's a great problem. So thank y'all for your support.
yeah, well, good show.
Good show.
Yeah.
I mean, great to have a new member.
Yeah,
just
welcome,
getting
Krissie.
bigger and bigger and bigger in a new city, which is just going to bring more eyes to what we love the most.
And remember, be a fountain, not a drain.
I love that.
I love that. Be a
Yes.
fountain, not a drain. But
Yeah.
do show her some love. Do show her some
her.
support. That's for sure.
Yeah, welcome aboard, Krissie. It's really, really good to have you. Thank you.
You bet. Well, guys, until next time,
Yeah.
cannot
See ya.
wait. We'll see y'all. Y'all do something nice for somebody. And until then, peace.
Peace.